Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. I've been a little under the weather for the past few days, and kind of still am, but they tell me I'm past the point of being contagious, so that should be good. But these things happen. And so what is it to practice? A time of strong health is a time of strong health. A time of ill health is a time of ill health. As we affirm every time we gather at the Sunday service, there is no way to avoid having ill health. And for some, it's a trivial thing. It's a sniffle, a tickle in the throat. For some, it's much more than that. Let's hear what old Master Dogen has to say. From the Bodhisattva's Four Methods of Guidance, he offers these words. Action means right form, dignity, and correct manner. This means that you cause yourself to be in identity with others after causing others to be in identity with you. However, the relationship of self and others varies limitlessly with circumstance. The Guanji says, the ocean does not exclude water. That is why it is large. Mountain does not exclude earth. That's why it's high. A wise leader does not exclude people. That is why they have many followers. So this concept, this experience rather, that we have of being in a body, of being in time, of being in a particular place. There's a position that we occupy. There's a place where we find ourselves. There's degrees of things. And it's confusing. It's scary. It's fun. It's terrifying. But it is this constant expression of change. No force can stop the fact that as each second ticks by, we are all 1 second older, low though we may try. Or maybe we haven't noticed yet. So in the midst of this, the Dharma, the Buddha Dharma says, it matters what you do. It really does. In a very real sense, this is what the precepts are centered around, is how we actually show up in the world. How does an awakened being, how does a practicing human being actually show up in the world? And there's a lot of very, play fair, play well with others, that kind of stuff. But the deeper end of the pool gets into how you fundamentally see yourself, how you experience your experience. This is actually the point This is the axis around which your particular world turns. One can do seemingly great actions in the world. One can have a beautiful smile. One can say the right things. And yet, if our perception is not really clear, then this beautiful smile is sitting on a world that's spinning the wrong way. So sometimes getting that world to actually shift and turn on the correct axis, so to speak, is a little disorienting. It can be calamitous. I have not been reading 2012 literature. So what is this shift that we talk about? The first thing is it's a very intimate, very personal, very direct and immediate thing. It's as immediate as how you're experiencing this moment right now. Guaranteed, whichever spot you're sitting in, you are in your own world right now, in a certain sense. You're sitting in your own place, in your own position, at your own time, in your own degree. And what we do is we trap ourselves. We literally wind a cocoon around ourselves that says, me. You know, I'm here. This is me. And that seemingly innocent first step, that seemingly obvious and given assumption, is actually the biggest problem we face. And it's also our greatest gift. That you are you is a beautiful thing. I wish more of you to come forth as you, more and more. I wish this for myself. There's nothing wrong with you. More, please. And yet, you're not you. Really, you're not. How can this be? Action means right form, dignity, correct manner. This means that you cause yourself to be in identity with others after causing others to be in identity with you. Oh, that's what it means. Nice. Now I know that. We can move on. Right? Perhaps we should stop and try to unpack just a touch of that for a few of us. What does it mean to cause others to be in identity with you? This is a very important point. If you practice your mind such that you are you, and that's the end of it, right? And everything that goes on through the cascade of your moments is centered around you and them. This is actually something that is limiting. This view is partial. And we take this partial view to be total. Dogen here says, cause others to be in identity with you. Now just think about how those words are hitting you right now. Cause others to be in identity with you. Perhaps something that comes to mind is something like reaching out and grabbing someone and saying, you, be identified with me. You have some idea of going out to aggressively convince people or something to do with other people out there. Cause others to be in identity with you. Where would you do that? In yourself. I can use my mind in such a way that you, whether you like it or not, are identified with me. At least in my mind, in my experience. When we are in this place, we might look at a sunrise and we might say, wow, that's me. We might actually experience the night sky as an aspect of ourselves. We may encounter a piece of music that's very moving for us and realize that truly this is an expression of myself. In fact, when one is in this state, in this place, I should say, of causing others to be an identity with self, this perspective sees all things as an aspect of itself. A very large, almost selfless self. See, one can see the sunrise, or set, or whatever, and say, you don't say it, but the software that's running how you're perceiving things is embedded with the fact that I'm here, and it's there, and I like it. You see? So I like that music, or this, I like this meal, or I like this friend, or I don't like this person, or whatever, right? There's a you, and then there's an it, and there's this incrossable gulf between you. There's a very different way of perceiving the world, where you actually see that as an aspect of yourself. And it's not wound around words. That's the thing. You don't sit there and say, ah, yes, this sunrise is an aspect of myself. That will not work. That immediately snaps you right back into the dualism of language. Right? When you speak in signifiers, already it's split. But I know you know something of what I'm talking about, as bizarre as it is to try and talk about it. There's a way of seeing all things as the self. And you know something of this because the self kind of disappears. And yet there's a little bit of a residue sometimes. It's me. This is a beautiful thing. Now for most of us, these kinds of moments come and go uncelebrated, unnourished, perhaps barely noticed, especially after you've, gotten old enough to take a few exams and had to fail a few things and try to figure out what the heck you're going to do and all that stuff. And it's very easy for those things to just go away. But that's not it. It's not as though I'm here, it's there is bad, and I'm here and it's all me, and there's no me but it's all me is good. And what you want to do is get from bad to good. That's not correct. Each point in the mandala holds the center. Every point is the center point. There really isn't a periphery. But one must appreciate the many facets of the mandala, many aspects of the mind, of experience. So somehow this has everything to do with action. Remember what Master Dogen is talking to us about here. He's talking about action in the world. Why would he talk about action in the world by talking about these deep inner ways of perceiving? Because that's what you have to do if you're really going to talk about the heart of things. If you just talk about descriptors about what you physically are doing, that's fine. But who are you when you're doing it? This means, let me start from the top of this thing. Action means right form, dignity, correct manner. Easy to hear those in some kind of a puritanical way. Please do not. This is not some kind of behavior modification program. This is not a list of yeses and nos. It's talking about true human action. True Buddha action. Same. This action means right form, dignity, correct manner. This means that you cause yourself to be in identity with others after causing others to be in identity with you. So others in identity with you is you see that star thing or whatever, and you go, wow. and you have some basic software shift where you start to actually perceive that as an aspect of yourself, without labeling it, without naming it, without codifying it or wrapping a story around it. That's how it's being perceived. There's another one. Cause yourself to be an identity with others. That's not the same. Not the same at all. See if you can track this. You cause yourself to be an identity with others after causing others to be an identity with you. So if we get this down to less abstract things or less gargantuan, talk about people. There's this person that you are fated to interact with. It's going to happen. I don't mean fate is fate. I mean it's happening, right? That's your boss, that's your dad, whatever, your child. I'm me, you're you. That's one experience. That's one mandala. That this person is an aspect of yourself is a very different mandala. That person is you. You see yourself in them as they are. You're not an aspect of me. I'm an aspect of you. Going. I'm an aspect of you. See, it's more natural for most of us to put ourselves squarely in the center of things. It's me. How about you're it? So you see that person that you have to interact with. You can see them as yourself. You can see yourself as them. You must see self as self. Yes. You must see other as other. Yes. You must see other as self. And you must see self as other. Did I do that right? I think so.
We wouldn't know that.
So you can look out at the stars at night and see them as an aspect of yourself. You can look out at the stars at night and see yourself as an aspect of them. Not the same. It's a very important part of Zen training. You must, it's a trite thing to say, open your mind. I mean, it's almost a stupid thing to say anymore. It doesn't have any weight. It's just become silly. I think last time I picked on be yourself. Right? Now I can pick on open your mind. But it's kind of true. A mind that's well steeped in practice is not adhered to any particular point of view in terms of who you experience yourself to be. Sometimes self is self. Sometimes self is other. Sometimes other is self. Sometimes nobody's there at all. Most of the time you don't know. But either place, you're not stuck. And there are many, many, many facets to you. And all of them actually are available. And most of us don't realize that. And I'm not talking about, you could all learn French or something, I'm talking about the basic way that you experience how your life is, what your life is. Really appreciating your life. Really appreciating life. This is what spiritual insight has to do with. This is where the alleviation of suffering comes from. It actually can't come from some deal you make with some entity somewhere to make sure you never get sick, or that the bullet passes the ones you love. If I do this, can you just make sure that doesn't happen to this one, huh? There's no relief there. There's no freedom there. Really. The great trust, the great faith, to use that word, would not stoop to such a thing. What does it mean to see self and other and self as self and other as other? And then, okay, if that's true, what are these intentions that we made together? Right? Because we did that. Liturgy, here we are, we dedicate these merits to all those we hold in the silence of our hearts, as well as those whose names we now voice aloud. Well, what's up with that then? Because believe me, I have some names. This is a matter for deep consideration. It's kind of, it's one of the things that really was so interesting to me. Is when I started training and coming into the Zen center, the temple, the monastery, whatever, and it's like there's all this weird stuff going on. There's these funny robed people, there's like these little cushions on the floor, there's all this weird Asian whatever terms, funny chants to go, all kinds of weird stuff, And then, so I was like, all right, and then after a while you kind of get that together. You understand why people walk around in little circles, and it actually is helpful, you get it and everything. And then you can kind of stop learning. You can kind of shut down and think you got this thing figured out. And that's a great tragedy. It's a great tragedy. Every aspect of what happens in the temple is specifically for you, specifically for your growth. All of it. Even that stupid and uncomfortable cushion you're stuck with again. Oh, I got that cushion. Well, yeah, sometimes you do get that cushion. And you have to sit in it. What now? What now indeed? Action means right form, right dignity, correct manner. This means that you cause yourself to be in identity with others after causing others to be in identity with you. However, the relationship of self and others varies limitlessly with circumstance. See, this is the thing. Limitless juiciness. We would try to take creation and put it in a little box and say, I've known this, and I'm safe. Okay, it doesn't work. All we have to do is just wait around a long enough time, which usually is not very long, and that box gets pulled apart somehow. But it's not even fun. It's not even cool. It's not juicy. There's no joy in that. The relationship of self and others varies limitlessly with circumstance. That's why everyone who's in this temple right now has got an amazing opportunity, see, because you live in a world. And so as soon as this service is done and our time together has passed, all of us will disperse to the various karmic unfoldings which await. And it's very juicy. Who knows what's going to happen tomorrow? Is that terrifying or is that inspiring? Well, it depends. Mr. Dogen goes on to quote the Guanzi, just some text or something, because he quotes it. And whatever that text is, If Dogen liked it, oh, by gum, I like it. So it says in that book, the ocean does not exclude water. That is why it is large. It's a classic image. Tributary streams flow together into the great ocean. What is the great ocean? Non-exclusion is the way. Non-discrimination is the way. Non-isolation is the way. There is no water that the ocean will reject. A drop of the finest perfume, a tear from a child, the purest, the dirtiest. It all flows together to the great ocean. You are that ocean. No. That ocean, you are an aspect of that ocean. No. You're you. The ocean is the ocean. Actually, it's yes all around, is it not? The ocean does not exclude water. That's why it's large. Mountain does not exclude earth. That's why it's high. A wise leader does not exclude people. That's why they have lots of friends. And that's a real issue. A lot of the lineages from the Buddha Dharma that the West has inherited come embedded and encrusted in culture. Right? It's a Korean thing. No. It's a Tibetan thing. No. It's a Vietnamese thing. No. It's a Japanese thing. Right? It's a human thing. So what is it when we take it up? What is it when you take this up? They had their turn. They had a good ride. But now it's your turn. You're the one who's on stage. Somehow the horn is in your hands. And it's time to play. We can kind of piss and moan about it, scuffle through. We can play it safe. We can play the same scale that everybody's told you should always play, because that's what they heard. Or you can try to free your mind. You should play those things, but you should also play something else. Let the audience play the horn while you stand there and watch. Let the music play the horn. Let the horn play the music. Let the horn play you. And then you play the horn. And it's not about music. It's about cleaning that bathroom. It's about that difficult conversation. It's about that ridiculous diagnosis. It's about those unpayable bills. Or for some people right now, it's how to manage that amazing lottery ticket they bought. No easy thing by the accounts I hear. So either way, you're on the hook. There's no escape. There's no free pass. All you can do is work on yourself. Open yourself to yourself. Open yourself to other. Give other to other. Give self to self. Give self to other. Give other to self. And each one of these things is an area for deep study. So I give you the, a little homework, all right? Whatever normal tomorrow is, somewhere in the middle of your normal tomorrow, play with this. See if you can. Can you see your coworkers as yourself? I mean, for some people, perish the thought. But that's a good place to enter then. Can you see yourself as an aspect of them? You're not different from them. Get over yourself. Really. all your Buddhist yaya. It's true. And these vestments can burn if you don't wear them right. Fortunately, it has nothing to do with the vestment. So let's hear it one last time, these words of counsel from this ancient worthy. Action means right form, dignity, correct manner. This means that you cause yourself to be in identity with others after causing others to be in identity with you.